What's going on, everybody? Welcome to TQS Logistics YouTube channel here. Today we're going to get into supply chain management basics, and we're going to dive into project management. Now, project management is a key component of all supply chain management. A lot of the times you'll notice that your work is one-off projects. So we're going to get into some of the basics on what that is and how to develop a project plan. Moving forward, you can find some other resources on what happens once projects get operationalized or put into part of the business standard operating process. But today we're going to start with just some of the basics of project management and how to develop a plan. And one quote that I love that really encapsulates what we're going to talk about today is from Abraham Lincoln. You probably know it. If you give him 6 hours to cut down a tree, he'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. And this happens in projects too, because a good start ensures the project is carried out deftly and completed efficiently. For the success of any project, first and foremost, the requirement is a good project plan. Good project plan is essential to avoid exceeded budgets, missed timelines, resource shrinkages, etc. If you're planning a project, if you incorporate these next 5 key elements, you'll essentially boss up your project management. So let's get right into it. The first element is to clear goals and scope. Before your project starts, it's necessary to articulate and chalk out the goals and scope of the project. Make sure they're SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable. What am I blanking here? I don't know, realistic, yeah. And thank you there. And T is time constrained, okay? So SMART goals. Familiarize the goals of the project and document the same so that everybody's on the same page and miscommunications are avoided. Also, scope, you want to avoid scope creep. Scope is essentially what the whole project will touch and the boundaries of the project. You want to avoid scope creep because it alters the remaining project execution. Any changes, added scope, expansion of the goals at any point, because essentially if it creeps, you're not going to be able to hit your goals if it's a moving target. It's much harder to hit a moving target than a static one. Scope creep also results in roadblocks, shortage of budgets, and alternated final deliverables. Proper documentation and control of the project goals and scope during the planning phase ensures that your project does not get delayed or derailed. So let's just recap here. When you want to determine your goals and scope, you want to ask yourself, why is this an important project? Then you want to ask yourself, what's the measure of success? And also, what this project will not address. Point number 2 about project plans is a project schedule. You want to build upon these goals and create a list of specific deliverables with the estimated delivery date. This is what's known as a project schedule. The project schedule is prepared for the entire life cycle of the project. Break down the project into smaller milestones and decide on the completion date. I would then set up charts to monitor and reflect the progress of the project, highlighting the start and finish of activities. Often it's difficult to schedule tasks weeks to months down the road, but utilizing something called a Gantt chart, which we have some more information on, you can find it below in the notes for this video, is one of the best ways to perform long-term planning. Communicate with the team, stakeholders, whoever is involved in the project, whenever these milestones are achieved, because of course time is money. We've all heard that before. So again, just to recap, develop a detailed task list, include durations, and also list the supporting team members. Okay, so the 5th element of good project plans are resource plans. Right from the project sponsor to project manager and timekeeping staff, it's essential to decide on resources required for the entire project. Also keep in mind that you do not need all the resources at the same time. Apart from the project sponsor and the project manager, other staff may be time-based and contractual. So another one thing that you want to do here is list out all the materials we require for this project. Okay, another couple things to keep in mind when you develop a resource plan: know your limitations and what you can do and of your team. Know where you're going to need additional support or where other problem areas are, and find some backups or subject matter experts to help you with these areas. Moving on into the fourth element, it builds on this resource plan. It's defining the roles and responsibilities of your team. Job allocation is an integral part of any project plan. The roles and responsibility of each team member in the project team and the stakeholders must be clearly defined from the start. This increases accountability and allows for delegation. One way that I do this is develop what's called a RACI chart, and I have another template of this as well. This shows hierarchical work breakdown. So what is a RACI chart? Well, it lists who's responsible, who's accountable, who's consulted, and who's informed. Responsible is the person actually going to be doing the work. Accountable is the person that is managing that person and who either gets credit or gets blamed, whether this project is a success or a failure. Consulted would be the subject matter experts, and informed are people who are part of the company that are not directly involved with the project, excuse me. And the next step would be to develop your goals from a team member level, right? And then you can hold those people accountable to those goals as well. And the fifth and final element is a budget. Ideally, you want to plan out the estimated cost of the project, highlighting the expenditure in different phases of the project. As this costing is based on projections, it's advisable to keep a surplus amount in hand to cover for unpredictable expenses. The expenses must be tracked regularly through an expense tracker, and you can analyze the consumption as the project progresses. One quick tip about quotes: get 3 at least. You never know if one company is offering add-ons and additional expenses, and you may have no place to go if you only have one vendor. So get at least 3. Again, keep pace and have reserves. That's pretty much it for budgets. We deal with these on our day-to-day lives, so I'm sure you'll be able to develop some sort of plan here, even if you're a newbie project manager. That's pretty much it. Keep those 5 things in mind when developing your project plan. Again, set goals, set timelines, list your resources, develop roles and responsibilities, and develop budgets, okay? If you want to learn more, our website's listed here. You can book a call with me on my Calendly link. And if you're interested in TQS Logistics services, you can follow this link at the bottom here to get a quote. We're going to be doing some more on project management, so keep in tune with our